It's the grand finale of the PBA season, the 47th Tournament of Champions, an event where only the best of the best are allowed to compete. But this year's PBA signature event carries more weight than ever, with 3 frontrunners for Player of the Year making today's finals. Masters champion Mike Fagan, two-handed sensation Jason Belmonte, and the explosive Sean Rash, all members of the PBA's next generation. All looking for their first TOC title and the chance to be named PBA Player of the Year. And welcome everybody, and great to have you with us at the Red Rock Resorts and Bowling Center here in Las Vegas. This is the final major of the season. And as the players themselves say, this is the best of the best. Gary Thorne, Randy Peterson, and as we said, at stake today, not only this championship, but maybe the Player of the Year is going to be decided here. Randy, 3 names a lot of people have heard before.
And what a great tournament to determine the Player of the Year. And these are the 3 names that everybody was talking about, except for the guy in the middle. You got to take that name out and put Norm Duke there. Mike Fagan was kind of the forgotten son. But you know what? In my opinion, he's the front runner. He's won a major. Has 2 wins. He led the U.S. Open only to lose by 1 pin to Pete Weber. If Fagan wins today, he's your Player of the Year.
Now there is another name, and his name is Ryan Ciminelli, and he would like to upset the apple cart, if you will, by coming away with the championship and making that decision on the Player of the Year that much more difficult. We go by the ladder seedings. It'll be Ryan Ciminelli, Mike Fagan going at it in our first match.
The number 4 seed is a 2-time PBA regional winner with 1 PBA Tour title. From Cheektowaga, New York, the Ryan Express, Ryan Ciminelli.
Only 26 years old, and an opportunity to get his first major. What a time to do it if he could get it here in the Tournament of Champions.
And Gary, I guarantee you he's feeling more pressure right now than in his entire life. I mean, this is a major. It's the Tournament of Champions. He's a young kid. Even though he has 1 career title, I guarantee he's never felt pressure like this.
And you want that good start, Randy, to get going and take some of that pressure off, yes?
Absolutely, and that's not the kind of start he's looking for, missing the head pin to the left.
You want that strike to get him. Needs a spare here, and we'll get that. So Ryan Ciminelli, maybe some of the butterflies are gone there. He takes on someone who's been in a number of these situations, Mr. Fagan.
The number 3 qualifier is a 3-time PBA Tour champion, including the 2012 Masters. From Dallas, Texas, the king of swing, Mike Fagan.
And you gotta love the pink Argyle shirt.
Fagan's best finish here, Tournament of Champions, was 9th back in 2010. Mike Fagan's underway. And 1 standing.
Better than that.
Indication the strikes are going to come hard here.
Well, maybe early on. As soon as the butterflies go away, I think the players will get locked in. Check out that big high backswing. But I think one of the things that has made Mike Fagan so good this year is, number 1, he's learned how to be versatile out here. But the biggest thing, he's got confidence and he now believes in himself.
And he will get the spare as well. And for Fagan, Player of the Year, well within reach.
If I win on Sunday, I don't think there's any discussion. I mean, personally, you know, I'm a stats guy. I look at the stats, you know, and I think that's that would be fair. I mean, if you know, if Belmo were to win, I think it would be fair for him to win the Player of the Year. You know, it really could come down to 1 match.
Yeah, and I have to agree with that. The winner between Mike Fagan and Jason Belmonte, if they can get there, that's your Player of the Year.
Fagan on that head pin, but he's going to leave 3, and not happy about that.
Well, it was 3 until the 6 pin fell late. Now it's a 9-10 split.
All right.
You know, he's going with excessive loft. You see the ball bounces and then it checks and goes through the nose. The reason why he's lofting it is because he's trying to stay as far right as he can. And the only way to keep the ball on line with his rev rate is to throw it in the air.
He gets a little help on that. 17th career TV final appearance and the 5th of this season. So he's got to come with a split in order to get the spare. Fagan will not do it, leaves it open. Wow. So you really got to go sit down and think about that one for a minute. Last thing you want is an early open frame here. Now Ciminelli gives him the opportunity to jump on it. Ciminelli said this week was a fight. That's how he turned it. And he's going. Strikes just aren't coming.
Well, I'll tell you what, he really showed a lot of character this week, especially Friday night when he struggled to try to win a match in match play. Watch this follow through. And you'll see that from time to time with Ryan. Sometimes he gets the follow through going to the right, sometimes it's straight up in front of him. But he really showed character Friday night and perseverance.
And he will get the spare.
Got a little pep talk from his idol, Parker Bone III, who said, hey man, you got to hang in there. You've got one more game. Came down to position round where Ryan Ciminelli took out Rhino Page and leapfrogged the defending champion, Mika Koivuniemi, to make the telecast.
Now, when we said it was a fight, he just felt he wasn't on. He said, I just thought that every match, every ball I rolled, I was battling myself, battling the opponent, battling the lanes. And he said it went on like that for the entire week.
Shot.
There, you heard him. Shot. He knew he had that one where he wanted it.
It was a great shot, and it looks like Ryan's starting to settle in a bit. You know, he talked to us last night, Gary, and said, you know, I'm going to try to burn up a spot to the outside part of the lane and stay as far out as I can. It looks like he had to move in just a little bit off of that.
So Ciminelli jumps out by 12 here early on. Now Mike Fagan looking to put a couple of strikes in. Tough split.
Well, no loft on that shot. He moves in just a pinch and then gets a horrible break, leaving the 4-9 pocket split. But I thought what was interesting when he told us last night that, you know, even though I won the Masters earlier in the season, he felt like the U.S. Open was the best tournament he's ever bowled in his life, only to lose by one pin to who do you think you are? I am.
Got faked out. Not good. Come on, pick it up.
So a little pep talk for himself right there. Not good. Let's pick it up. And really needs a spare here after leaving that last frame open for the spare. Ooh. Boy, you don't see that very often from Mike Fagan or anybody else at this point of the season here. And in the Tournament of Champions, he's got a couple of open frames.
Well, you can see what the players were doing prior to the start of the telecast. This is Jason Belmonte, and you can see just how deep he is. Sean Rash, your tournament leader, he's playing the extreme outside angle, as was Mike Fagan. Fagan and Rash trying to stay right of Belmonte. It's hard to match the power of Belmonte, especially when he creates so much angle from that deep inside. And these guys can't strike with a Belmonte or anybody else that just uses two fingers and two hands.
Fagan, boy, does he win. Big X right here. And he got it.
Yeah, and he needs to start getting it going to have any chance of winning Player of the Year. He makes a ball change there. But remember, so much riding on the line for Mike Fagan. Great year. Yeah, he won a major, but he's eyeing Player of the Year honors and a second major to boot.
So Fagan gets his first strike. Down by 23, though. Ciminelli now. It's a matter of staying consistent. And see whether or not he can not only maintain the lead, but build it. Ryan Ciminelli. Whoa.
And look how quick it can turn around. 4 through the middle.
Come on.
2, 4, 6, 7, 9, 10. This is a mess. Ball goes right through the nose.
He can't believe it.
And there's still 6 standing. You don't see that leave every day out here.
All of the players talking about finding their spot. and he will get a 7. Wow, how much of this affected by the pattern?
Well, the Tournament of Champions oil pattern is 39 feet in length, and it features a sport-compliant pattern, well-balanced, designed to create multiple angles. But we saw what the players were doing on the right. They were trying to go really straight, except for Belmonte playing that big swing and hook from inside, and obviously Ryan Ciminelli trying to go straight on the left side as well.
Well, Ciminelli now is the one who's got to pick it up. Gets it on the head pin and gets the strike. That's a nice follow-up to a tough 7 in the frame before that. He comes back with a strike.
Watch the follow-through. It's going to go to the right again, just across his right ear. Shreds the rack. And one thing about Ryan Ciminelli, he doesn't hold back or leave anything in the bag.
You can see him reaching back on that shot.
Yeah.
I mean, he wanted some pump on that, and he got it.
He's got more revs in his backswing than I do in my entire game.
Now Mike Fagan, all of a sudden, what had been 20 plus, it's now a 7. He's making an adjustment here, having a re-rack and a new ball.
Going to something a little stronger. Started with a 607A and now has gone to something more aggressive.
Fagan making the adjustments. He talked with us about that yesterday, adjusting. He says, I'm doing that faster.
Come on, man, make a shot.
Because of my experience.
Make a shot.
Yeah, he's got a great opportunity here to take the lead. He needs to stay focused and commit to this ball change on the right lane. Remember, the last time on this right lane, he went 4-9 split.
Fagan looking to back in. Got that one way out, and he'll lead the team. Just can't find the strikes.
Well, he's found the pocket, though. He's made the adjustment. And next time on this right lane, I think he's going to really trust that he is in the right zone with the right ball now. You take a look at that big high backswing. The wrist is actually not cupped. It's going the other direction. And then on the way down, he kind of bends that elbow, loads up. But this, what you're seeing out of Mike Fagan right now, is the versatility that we talked about. He's able to go really straight. Throughout the course of this event, especially at night in the latter part of match play, Mike Fagan's lofting.
Oh, misses the spare.
You don't think you rush?
I was going to say Mike Fagan was lofting the left gutter cap as he just whiffed the 10-pin.
And you're talking about great bowlers, and you're talking pressure.
Too many things going through his mind right now, lack of concentration and focus, and that's what happens. 3 open frames.
Wow.
And only 5 frames bowled. Now trailing by 19. Ciminelli working on a strike in the 5th.
Early on here, both players have had opportunities to really jump ahead in this match with considerable numbers, and neither's been able to do it. Fagan again after that strike. And got it! Little win from the north, please.
Well, last frame the 10-pin wasn't his friend. This time it looks like he's going to leave another flat 10. The 10 caves in late, and it's a strike in the 6 for Fagan.
I got to believe, as we take a break, they're happy we're taking a break because they're going to be able to sit down and go, wait a minute, what's going on here? The PBA Tournament of Champions is brought to you by Budweiser. Great times are waiting. Grab some buds. By Red Rock Resort. Discover a new way to enjoy Las Vegas. Visit redrocklasvegas.com. By Brunswick. Find your next ball at bowlwithbrunswick.com. And by Just for Men Auto Stop. New Auto Stop is foolproof. Gray is over. And we welcome you back to the Tournament of Champions here in Las Vegas. And an interesting start, to say the least. We are on the ladder today, and Sean Rash is #1 waiting for these bowlers. A new chapter of the Angels-Yankees rivalry highlights ESPN Sunday Night Baseball. 8 o'clock, Derek Jeter, Bronx Bombers take on Pujols and the L.A. Angels. Then Monday at 7, Joe Mauer, the Twins, A-Rod and the Yankees. Sports Center scene in New York. Both games available ESPN, ESPN3, and also live on Watch ESPN app. baseball season gets underway. Sean Rash, who has to wait since he will bowl only once. He is next door. Ryan Ciminelli, he's going to keep a very close eye on him as they are good friends, but he's over there warming up while they bowl here. And what? The splits we're seeing, just amazing.
I mean, this is starting to become mind-boggling. All of the open frames this early, the scores this week were really good.
Wow, that sucks.
The way the lanes have broken down by the players' choices throughout practice have really created a monster in terms of oil patterns.
Well, Ryan Ciminelli he's battling here. He was up by more than 20 pins 3 frames ago. That's all disappeared. He's now up by 7, and really, at this point, the first of these players able to get some X's in the box consistently here. Looks like he's going to have a real shot at taking this first match.
And if Fagan doesn't miss the 10 pin in the 5th frame, Fagan's leading.
Ryan Ciminelli. There he goes. He averaged 232 overall for 56 games in the tournament.
Take a look at Mike Fagan's 3 open frames. The first one coming in the 2nd frame when he was a little unlucky. Then the pocket 4-9, and then the whiff on the 10 pin.
Fagan has a 234 overall in the tournament. He played 36 games, and yes, you heard right. Ryan Ciminelli, the number 4 seed, 56 games this week here in this Tournament of Champions. See if he can find a spot. Whoa.
Really making us good. Making us look good with this pattern. Whee!
He didn't get the strike, but he's mighty happy. He got that last pin down.
I mean, look at how far he's lofting the ball just to try to keep it on line, but it's the wrong combination. The ball's not facing the 1-3 hard enough. The flat 10's there. He almost left the pocket 7-10. Not the right combination.
Fagan with 2 strikes. Ciminelli has just 3. Nobody would have said at this point combined there would be 5 strikes in this match. Now for the spare, which he has missed earlier. Not this time. This is going to be tight. A Masters championship for Mike Fagan.
Well, he just looked great and trying to win his first ever career major. Chris Barnes got off to a real quick lead and then splits late. Fagan does that in the 10th frame to capture his first major.
First one for Fagan. Has 3 tour titles today. He's down by 7. Ciminelli. He finds the middle and gets it. Four titles for Fagan in his career, and right now shaking his head. He talked about making adjustments and how he thought he was getting better at doing that. He's had to make adjustments so far, but he's continuing to have to make them, and it's getting dangerously close to the end. Ciminelli. And yep, he got it. So Ciminelli comes away with a big strike. His family very supportive of his already long bowling career.
Always supported me. I felt like I didn't want to lose their money, so I went and got a backer, but they always wanted the best for me. They always would put me out there.
And his family always either on hand or watching. Angelo, his dad, the one who put that bowling ball in his hand at a very early age of 4.
Be good, baby. Yeah.
Cock to the ball. 2 strikes. 2 in a row. So Ryan Ciminelli's got 3 in a row, I'm sorry, and that's exactly what he needed at this point.
Ryan Ciminelli looking to become the first left-hander to win this season. The last time a lefty went without a win on the PBA Tour, 1962.
was talking about that as far as his positioning. He said, I just want to stay away from everybody else, the right-handers. If I can stay on my side of the lane, develop my own approach that they're not going to mess up on me, he said, I'll be very happy. So now for Mike Fagan, he needs a big finish. That's the way to start it.
Mike Fagan can strike out and shoot 194. Ryan Ciminelli can strike out and shoot 211. If Mike Fagan throws at least 2 strikes here in the 10th frame and 8 on his fill shot, that'll give him 192. That would force Ryan Ciminelli to throw the first strike in the 10th. How many times have we seen it in a major championship where a player was trailing by a significant amount, only to come back and throw, say, the last 3 or 4 strikes to apply pressure to his opponent? The opponent gets up and something catastrophic happens. Open frame, big split, doesn't strike when he needs to, bad break.
Mike Fagan was down by as many as 23.
And
oops,
something just fell out of the sky. Mike Fagan's chances of winning or potentially winning Player of the Year honors is coming down to this 10th frame.
That may not have sounded particularly loud, but it was
A little bit softer.
inside here.
Come on. A little bit softer now. Let's go.
Somebody apparently brought their hammer with them, continuing their weekend work in the yard.
Good thing Weber's not on this show.
He'd be in the stands. Ah, yes. Mike Fagan threw it all, gets what he needed.
You know, and the other interesting aspect of what's happening here in the 10th frame is with all of the distractions and the amount of time that it's taking for Mike Fagan to finish the 10th frame, that's how long Ryan Ciminelli has to sit and wait.
Come on.
And Ciminelli's the younger,
A bit softer.
some degree lesser experience, especially in these settings.
It's all about rhythm, right, and tempo.
Yeah.
And when you sit longer than you've been sitting the entire match,
Thinking.
there's exactly thinking. Your mind starts to wonder, oh, it's the Tournament of Champions. It's all going to come down to this shot, though. Mike Fagan's got to strike on this ball.
Mike Fagan needs the strike. And does not get it.
Nice
Yeah.
shot, idiot.
Yeah, he threw it horrible. He pulled it, threw it about halfway down the lane. Just a bad shot.
How terrible is that?
And that's the voice of frustration. And Mike Fagan to finish out with a spare, and he does, but not the way he wanted to end it. And now it's for Ciminelli to put away.
Ciminelli needs a mark.
A very interesting first match. With the number 3 and 4 seeds going here, Ryan Ciminelli seeded 4. Mike Fagan seeded 3rd. Jason Belmonte awaiting the winner of this one, and then Sean Rash, the number 1 seed. Ciminelli looking to wrap it up. He said this week was a fight. Well, the fight's not over. It continues. It has since the beginning of this match, and it's going to be a continuation of the grinded out week that he talked about with us yesterday.
Yeah, and he needs to make this 7-pin.
After for the spare, and he got it. So Ryan Ciminelli doing battle.
Needs 3 pins to move on. Stay behind the foul line, throw it down the middle of the lane. Don't take any chances.
Even that hasn't been easy. All right, 3, and he moves on. 3 it is as he wraps it up with a strike, and Ryan Ciminelli, the 26-year-old who has never won a major, is going to move on to the next round against Jason Belmonte. And a very tough go-around for Mike Fagan, who is going after Player of the Year. And the loss here is not going to help that cause. Jason Belmonte will take on Ciminelli next. Well, certainly interesting as Ryan Ciminelli will move on to face Jason Belmonte here in our second match as he defeats Mike Fagan in what was a tough match for both here. And some memorable moments, Tournament of Champions, Randy.
Yeah, well, who can forget the first time we came here to Red Rock? Mike Haugen is trailing by 52 halfway through the match. He mounts a string of strikes and a comeback. Barnes misses a spare late, needs to strike on this ball. Haugen wins by a pin. Then the next year, it's a battle of the two southpaws. Patrick Allen tripping the 6 here, finishes at 267. Rhino Page needs a strike, 9 spare to win. He gets the strike, and then he gets 4. Patrick Allen couldn't believe it. And who could forget this one? Chris Barnes once again falls victim at the Tournament of Champions. Kelly Kulick, the first woman ever to win a major championship title on the PBA Tour. And then, of course, last season, Mika Koivuniemi with the 299 to Tom Doherty's 100. And then he beats Smallwood for the title, 269-207, to win the biggest payday in professional bowling history, a cool $250,000.
Some of the great memories. Nelson Burton Jr., Bo is with us. You've been in this situation before on camera, I'm talking about.
Well, you're right, Gary, and welcome to the booth. You know, I've covered a lot of these Tournament of Champions, and it's always exciting. Something different is always going to happen, and it was very unexpected, wasn't it, Randy, at the start?
Yeah, it was really a tremendous a year and tournament last year. To see what Mika did, the 299, but you know, the big buzz was obviously the money, the $250,000.
Well, that's for sure, and it really one of the most memorable games of all time. In fact, I said it was the most memorable game, Gary, because we remember Don Johnson, we remember Jack Bianolo with the first perfect game, we remember Barry Asher going strike solid 8, strike solid 10 to lose to Dave Davis with a double, but you know, last year was unbeatable.
You did all right at the TSC one year, didn't you?
Well, I had a good chance in 1978. I really bowled really well in this tournament, Randy, and I just came off a U.S. Open win, so I was bowling well, and I caught a few strikes early, and as you see, I just tear that 5-pin right out of there, but late in the match, when I had a chance to put it away, I got an open frame, and Earl Anthony went on to win the title.
I can't believe you lost to Tita. You let Tita Semez beat you.
Tita was pretty tough.
And you went on to stay with bowling, of course, with Chris Schenkel for years and years on the air. Who happens to be one of my favorite announcers. I grew up in New England. He was doing New York Giant football at the time and became one of my heroes. And there you are working together.
Well, you're right, Gary. I had the luxury of almost a quarter century of having Chris Schenkel by my side. He's a great man. We miss him all, and he was really the voice of bowling.
How do I get one of those blue blazers? That was awesome.
I loved it. I thought they looked good.
Yes.
Might not look so good on me. All right, our two Bowling Hall of Famers right here. And joining us when we come back for our second match, Bo's going to stay with us. Ryan Ciminelli, we'll see if he can move on from that 4 seed as he will take on Jason Belmonte when we come back to the Tournament of Champions. And we welcome you back to Las Vegas. A reminder tonight at 8 Eastern on ESPN Sunday Night Baseball. Tonight at 8 o'clock Eastern, ESPN Sunday Night Baseball. Derek Jeter and the Bronx Bombers welcome Albert Pujols and the Angels. Then on Monday night at 7, it's Sports Center. It'll be on in New York while the Yankees and the Twins go at it. Both games available ESPN, ESPN3, and also live on WatchESPN.app. Jason Couch, the veteran, 16 PBA titles to his credit, including 4 majors. And for most bowlers, winning the Tournament of Champions, a dream come true. Couch has 3 TOC titles to his credit. 3 consecutive, 99-02. The only bowler to win 3 TOC titles in a row. Tell us what that means. Last night, Couch received the honor of being inducted into the PBA Hall of Fame. Great honor for him. And there you see the inductees. Gene Stuss also in on the veterans vote. 11 career senior tour titles for him, 50 top 5 finishes, and 173 senior tour events. Oh, great honor.
Yes, it was. And Gary, I have to say, Jason Couch gave one of the great speeches of all times and being honored in the Hall of Fame. Now we're coming up to the semifinal match, though, Gary, and I really, really have never seen Jason Belmonte bowl under pressure in a top-notch situation. I'm anxious to see this match.
The number 2 player is a 4-time PBA Tour champion, 2008 World 10-Pin Bowler of the Year, and 2009 PBA Rookie of the Year from Orange, New South Wales, Australia, Belmo, Jason Belmonte.
So Jason Belmonte also after a first major, his best finish here in the Tournament of Champions. He was 12th last season. Let's see if this match starts out any differently with a few more X's than what we saw in that first match.
I'll tell you what's going to be different is the angle that this guy's going to play versus what you saw Mike Fagan doing. There's one place that Jason Belmonte is going to play, and that's the deep inside angle, period, end of story. And as they break it down, he's going to keep moving left, and he's going to start throwing the ball over the left gutter cap.
So he's trying to start out with a spare here for Belmonte. Hang up. Now Ryan Ciminelli, you see the average that he put up, 10 and 8 in match play. He lost to Belmonte, 269 to 258 in the second round, game number 7. Right back at it.
Roll.
Oh,
Wow.
Just missed.
But, Bo, you know, the thing about pressure is it doesn't define character, it exposes it. And that's what we saw with Ryan Ciminelli Friday night of match play, and that's what we saw in the last match against Fagan. This kid hangs in there, has a lot of confidence in himself, and he's got, obviously.
Oh, my. An open frame.
You know, it's interesting, Randy, you said that, and yet I see confidence in that first shot, not the spare shot, but I saw confidence in there. He moved in, he's given a little more room. But you can't miss spares in win major tournaments. I will say that right now. Unless Belmonte gives him a spare back, I think he almost has put himself in a big hole mentally and score-wise against Jason Belmonte.
And that was the spare that he made in the 10th frame to beat Fagan.
Ciminelli regrouping and gets the strike.
You know, an interesting point, Randy, I watched you and Gary call the U.S. Open tournament, and Belmonte, in my opinion, blew that tournament by playing the lanes incorrectly. And if I recall, he moved deep inside where he is now on his fill ball and said, that's where I should be. He's starting there today.
This is where he's played pretty much the whole week. And this is where he's had the most success.
And Belmonte puts it in, and he's got the strike. He, of course, is from Australia. Wife back home expecting a child any day.
Kimberly's the one that got the suitcase out. She forced me to pack, and she said, you have your dreams and goals, and I want you to go and achieve them. You know, which really goes to show me what kind of a woman she is.
Be their second child. He was talking about the fact he didn't get here until Wednesday night. It was a 20-hour trip. He said, what has amazed me most about this week is, as tired as I am, I've been focused.
Well, and his wife is actually 6 days overdue.
Yeah,
so
it's not easy.
He's thinking about two things: winning the Tournament of Champions and getting home.
And he found that one.
What do you think about that angle now, Bo?
Well, I like the angle, Randy, and that's his best go. When you throw the big train like he does, you got to play inside and cross boards. But it's interesting to me, I watched him warmed up. He was lofting the ball out over the foul line, and he looks like he's kind of laying it down short. I don't know if he's a little nervous and dumping it, or that's what he is intentionally doing. Obviously, they all ended up in the pocket so far.
Yeah, it may have been just trying to save the head oil in the front part of the lane.
Ciminelli, and maybe both now settling down as Ciminelli comes back with another strike.
But Gary, Bo makes a great point in that, you know, back in our day, we didn't miss spares. We didn't miss single pin spares. And the reason was we didn't throw a lot of 6, 7, and 8, and 9 baggers. I mean, that just didn't happen, especially in a major. Today, I think the mindset's a little bit different, Bo. You got a guy like this that can string so many strikes together. I don't think there's quite as much emphasis on spare shooting.
Oh, Randy, you're absolutely sure. You don't panic when you get an open when you know you can throw 5 or 6 in a row. But like your U.S. Open, you couldn't do that. You would panic. This guy's stroking now.
I mean, he comes right back after a missed frame, Gary, and throws a 3-bagger right behind Belmonte's double.
So Ryan Ciminelli, who won our first match against Michael Fagan. He is the number 4 seed here in our ladder, and moving up here against Belmonte. So Belmonte being challenged by Ciminelli strikes. And nope. So he's going to have to go after a spare.
I'll tell you, this is the one thing that Jason has to watch out for, especially with a rev rate that high. This ball goes high not because it's pulled, because it's physically impossible for him to pull a shot. It went high because it was slow.
Good point, Randy. People don't realize the more you hook it, the more the ball has a tendency to slow down.
Yep.
But after seeing some spares missed already today, you can see that even for these bowlers today, there's a little added pressure when they're after that spare. Little nervousness.
Well, Gary, the tournament's on now. We've gone almost halfway through the finals here. Now everybody's settled down. You know, Sean Rash, he's going to be tough in the championship match, but both of these guys are settled in. It's who wants it the most, who can perform now under the pressure.
Nelson Burton Jr., Bo, joining us here for our second match. He's found the spot. He's putting that ball where he wants it and getting the spin he wants, and a little smile even.
This guy's really focused. I mean, he literally dominated the World Series of Bowling this season. This is his 9th telecast of the season, 3 wins. The only thing missing on the resume now is a major championship to go to all the other stuff he has, like number 1 in money, number 2 in points, 7 on the average list.
Ciminelli have strikes to keep up, and he gets it.
I'll tell you, Randy, you know it, I know it, we have the eye for it. He's settled in, and that was a big shot there early in the match. That covered the open frame that brought him down in the first frame, and now he has taken an 11-pin lead in the match. No matter who you are sitting on the bench, when the other guy's sitting up there striking, looks good, and can go to 21-pin lead with just 4 frames left, watch out.
Ciminelli telling us yesterday, in his words, it would mean a ton to win. He said how many have won the Tournament of Champions as their 2nd title. That's what he's trying to do. And no, he'll have to work on the spare.
Well, remember when I was saying about this guy's Maple Moxie, he whiffs the 7-pin, and then he comes back with 4 in a row. And I think this guy's really figured it out. I think he's grown and matured a lot out here in the last couple of years. And he's the only lefty on the telecast.
And he's got it.
Well, that's a good point, Randy.
See him talking about pointing to his shoulder there. That's what he's making the adjustment with as far as the release is concerned. Our second match of the day, Ryan Ciminelli going against Jason Belmonte for the right to move on to the Tournament of Champions final. $80,000 goes to the winner. This is our second match, looking to move on to that final match. And right now, Jason Belmonte up. Belmonte, going back to 1987, decided this is what I want to do for a living.
I think the first one I remember seeing was Pete Weber. This is the first time I'd seen this guy bowl, and he just electrified me. This is what I want to do. And when he won, I'm like, I want to be that guy.
His 10th title, youngest ever to win that money.
Pete Weber wins. Going up the ladder, he beat Mike Albee, Mark Roth, Art Trask, and Jim Murdishaw.
Randy, nobody has missed the pocket yet. Belmo drifted a little bit high for that 4-7 count, but every ball, all 11 shots have been in the hole so far. Let's see what happens in the last half of the match.
Jason Belmonte bowling.
Jason.
3-6-10.
I still can jinx it.
Yeah, and I learned from the best, so I'm right there with you.
Right there.
He's got to move in and create some more angle on the right lane. Both the last two shots have both drifted high. Now Jason's faced with 3-6-10. Not the easiest of leaves.
Looking for the spare, Belmonte, and he got it. Yeah, let's take a look at the fast, safe, pain relief replay.
Anytime you can throw the ball straight and cover the 3-6-10, that's a good thing. You don't have to worry about the oil pattern. It's exactly what Jason Belmonte does there. Even though he still uses two hands, he throws a hard plastic ball, cuts down on the revolutions, and throws it nice and straight.
Now, replay brought to you by the makers of Bayer Advanced Aspirin. Jason Belmonte after his first major, and tried to move it a little bit to the right, and still no strike.
Boy, and you don't see a lot of that from the two-handers, especially Jason Belmonte, Bo. When their bowling ball hits the pocket with all that speed and power, their carry percentage is awfully high.
Randy, I watched the telecast almost faithfully, and I've never seen Belmonte or any of the winners throwing the ball down into the lane. He's not catching it on the upstroke, even with that two-handed delivery. Oh, see that on the spare?
Got it.
I think it's because he's trying to get the ball to read the spot down the lane. And the whole thing is if he gets too aggressive and his speed goes up, he could blow it right through that hook spot. A little approach issue here, a little hop and a skip, and we got airborne, but it's still 9 spare.
And he told us, Randy, that spot to the right is what he was going to be looking for as he bowled today.
Shot.
Trying to find it. Yeah, there's the strike, Ciminelli.
Ciminelli's going to go through less transition today, Bo. We see that Belmonte's already going through transition in terms of the oil pattern on the right lane. Ciminelli's not going to see that.
I agree, and Ciminelli can take a 21-pin lead. But I'm going back to my point a little bit, Randy. If you look at the history of this tournament, and you did a little compendium of it in our interview there, nobody has won this tournament throwing the ball down in the lane. Mika won it throwing it on the upstroke. Hagen threw it on the upstroke. So it looks like this pair of lanes likes the ball out over the foul line.
Ciminelli.
Yes!
You heard him. 26-year-old putting up some big numbers right now, putting the pressure on Jason Belmonte. So 21, the differential right now, and Jason Belmonte has got to find some strikes here because Ciminelli is. No.
Jason Belmonte is in big trouble.
Randy, how do you cut your hook down? You loft it out over the foul line, just like Fagan. Belmonte's dumping it down there. You know, an interesting thing, and I asked this for a lot of bowlers back home in Florida, does Belmonte put spin on the ball with his left hand? And it's interesting enough, his hand comes off the ball before he releases it, so it's all with his right hand. The left is just a guide.
Tough spare, and he got it. Well, that's not what he needs right now.
Re-rack.
And here's our foolproof technique brought to you by Just For Men Auto Stop.
Well, remember I told you earlier that Jason Belmonte cannot pull the ball, and this is why. I want you to see the position of his shoulders right here. When he's got two hands on the ball, those shoulders stay open. There was a guy that did that a long time ago. He did it with his right hand. He kept it in front of his chest throughout his entire approach. That guy's name was Earl Anthony. And he did that to keep his shoulders open.
Earl did a pretty good job winning this tournament. In fact, whipping me, I remember that. All right, coming down to the critical point, Gary.
And now Just For Men look. New auto stop is foolproof, and gray is over. And so are the pins, and that is exactly what he needed. Belmonte now has got to strike out here.
Yeah, he's maxed out at 224. Ryan Ciminelli is already in the high 220s. So this is now up to Ryan Ciminelli. Makes good enough shots, hits the pocket, and fills frames with good count. He's going to move on to the title match.
Ciminelli on the verge.
Yeah! Yes!
That puts him in the 230s now. Any good count on this ball, and he moves on.
Needs 8 on the first shot, and he will move on. Even if he opens, he would be the worst he can end up as a tie. But Randy, you're seeing it, a guy who wins the first match, he gets loose and he goes right on through. All he needs is a spare to win.
He needs 9 to win. 9 on this
9
ball.
locks it. 8,
yeah,
8's
9
a
on this
guaranteed
ball.
tie.
Looking to move on to the championship match. Can he get 9 right here?
Brunswick's
Yes, he
back.
can.
Title match, baby.
Ryan Ciminelli, the 26-year-old, seeded 4, who's never won a major. His best finish in a major, 3rd, back in 2010 in the USBC Masters. There you see his girlfriend watching here, Chelsea Larson, with a lot to cheer about.
Randy, the story of this match, Belmonte bowled poorly. Ciminelli bowled well.
I'm not sure Ciminelli's going to get beat. Based on the ball reaction I see on the right side of the lane versus what Ciminelli has, you could be looking at your Tournament of Champions winner right there.
Boy, what a finish. What a 2 first matches for Ryan Ciminelli. He seeded number 4, but he's going to go against the number 1 seed, Sean Rash, coming up for the championship. The PBA Tournament of Champions is brought to you by Jack Link's. Jack Link's Beef Jerky. Feed your wild side. By Barbasol. Start your day cool with new Arctic Chill shaving cream from Barbasol. Better buy Barbasol. By Storm. Bowlers serving bowlers. Storm is the Bowlers company. And by Red Rock Resort. Discover a new way to enjoy Las Vegas. Visit redrocklasvegas.com. And a new chapter in the Angels-Yankees rivalry highlights ESPN Sunday Night Baseball. 8, Derek Jeter, the Bronx Bombers, take on Albert Pujols and the Los Angeles Angels. Then Monday night at 7 Eastern, Joe Mauer, the Twins against A-Rod and the Yankees. SportsCenter will be seen in New York. Both games available ESPN, ESPN3, and also live at ESPNWatch.net. We are going to the championship match, Tournament of Champions.
Well, let's start with a Geico Championship recap first. Ryan Ciminelli in match number 1 taking on Mike Fagan.
Yeah.
He throws a 3-bagger late. Fagan could not overcome 3 early open frames. Ciminelli moves on. Then in match number 2, he takes on the 2-handed sensation from Australia, Jason Belmonte. But it was all Ryan Ciminelli. A 4-bagger early.
Brunswick's back. Title match, baby.
And a 5-bagger late. He wins 257 to 223. He now takes on Sean Rash.
Nelson Burton Jr. joining us. Bo, getting a chance to watch. What do you think?
Well, going into the final match, Gary, if you take odds, I covered over 1,000 tournaments with PBA, 45.5% time, the number 1 guy wins. But I'm looking at Sean Rash practicing, and I told told Randy that.
How could you forget my name? Come on.
You're a Hall of Famer. I told Randy, I says, I think Sean Rash is bowling better than anybody in the world right now, but Ciminelli has the momentum.
That's a bold statement, and you know, I agree with you, Bo. I mean, he had a great World Series of bowling, but the problem is that every time he had a chance to win, every time he had a chance to put somebody away, he threw it through the nose, he missed a spare, he got out of sorts, and he just never got the W's, period. I like Ciminelli in this match, and I think it's because he's built up a shot on his side of the lane. It's better than the right side, and he has nobody else to deal with, no other traffic on that side.
One last point. If Rash waits for the ball, like you used to, he will win the tournament.
There's the final word right there. Tournament of Champions. Great matches and obviously great highlights. Take a look. There's a look back as this is the final. The Tournament of Champions wraps up the season. You see the other title winners in the 2011-12 PBA Tour. It has been a great year, some new names entering, and certainly some of the veterans whom we've looked at, like Norm Duke, who have made their presence felt again. And now there's going to be one more champion. I want to thank Nelson Burton Jr. for joining us here. Great delight to have an opportunity to, number one, meeting, and number two, to have him come on board and be with us for a match.
It's always great to see Bo and an honor to work side by side with him.
So here we go. The championship Tournament of Champions winner will be determined. It is either Ryan Ciminelli, the number 4 seed, or the number 1 seed, Sean Rash. So we welcome you back. This is the Tournament of Champions here at the Red Rocks Lanes in Las Vegas, Nevada. We're down to the championship match. Here are today's keys to victory, brought to you by the makers of Alka-Seltzer Plus Liquid Gels.
For Ryan Ciminelli, it's all about speed control. He said it to us himself. I can't overthrow it, and obviously, don't think ahead. Stay in the moment. For Sean Rash, tempo, 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 baby. His thing was, hey, if I get too fast, I get the ball in the swing too quick, I'm dead. And I got to stay focused. I got to stay in the present. I got to bowl all 10 frames.
And the inevitable question about waiting and watching and being the number 1 seed. You haven't bowled.
This guy is not nervous. Ciminelli has got the momentum on his side. He's loose.
And starts out with a strike.
And he's got a good ball reaction. Sean Rash has now got to fight through the nerves.
Let's meet him.
The tournament leader is a 4-time PBA Tour champion, including the 2007 Masters. From Montgomery, Illinois, Sean Rash.
He has one major to his credit, 2007 USBC Masters. That was in Milwaukee. And since 07, he's had an amazing 12 TV appearances, but no title, 3 second-place finishes. And Rash starts it out with a strike. How does he feel about the Tournament of Champions? Let's listen in.
The Tournament of Champions is the event that everyone is a champion. And you're bowling the best of the best in our sport. They've been successful at every level, regionals, nationals, seniors. Now you include a few women that's pretty good as well. So it'd be an honor to win it. You know, it's one of those events that I look forward to every year because it's, you notice the guys that have been successful throughout the course of their careers.
And that close for Sean Rash, that close. Sean Rash looking to follow it up with another strike. Yo!
When you see stuff like that happen, that's usually a really good sign.
Wow. Gene Rash is Sean's dad. He's here. Sarah Rash, Sean's wife, is here. And the applause from them for this little movement.
Headpin goes to the sidewall. Call it the scout or the messenger. Sean Rash calls it a double.
He was already to move away. And starting out right on the money. Ciminelli and Rash both look as though they are ready to go.
If this guy can keep it together emotionally and mentally, I just don't see how Ryan Ciminelli can lose.
No major victories. Match number 1, 6 of 11 for strikes, 9 out of 12 in his second match. And that one is going to leave 1.
Got a little handsy with this shot at the bottom of the swing, and it caused the ball to drift a little bit high.
Ciminelli and Rash have gone at it once here in the Tournament of Champions week. After the spare, and he's got it. Rash lost to Ciminelli in round 2, game 1, 238 to 198 this week.
I think Nelson Burton Jr. made a great point in terms of how great Sean Rash has been this season. And he's been great, except in one category, and that's the wins category. Sean hasn't won since 2007. And you mentioned that a little bit earlier, but you know, ultimately, at the end of your career, you're going to be recognized by the amount of titles. You look at a guy like Ryan Schaefer, who's won only 4 times out on this tour. He's made every major telecast more than once, a ton of second-place finishes, but probably won't get in because he doesn't have the W's.
Brought it back in beautifully.
That's a great shot, and Sean has somehow found a way to mentally and emotionally get rid of some of the early nerves. Just a great shot here, and anytime you see the 6-pin, second to the right on your screen, go to the sidewall and snap the 10-pin out like that, that's always a great sign.
Interesting that Ciminelli and Rash both had to go through 56 games in order to get to this Sunday and the Tournament of Champions Final Four, while Jason Belmonte and Mike Fagan had only 36 games, the numbers 2 and 3 seeds. So they have bowled a lot this week, and again, maybe that's for the better.
Good tempo. Slow your feet down.
And that, he talked with us about that. You heard him say slow everything down. He said, I've got to do that. I start rushing and I get in real trouble. I've got to have tempo, not only on the ball, but myself. And he just said that, tempo.
Right. And that's a great thing to focus on. Sean's DNA is there's always going to be a balk at some point in the game and on television.
Sean Rash bringing it back.
Boy, that ball went out for burger and fries and came back with steak and baked potato. That was nasty.
That's as far as you can go to the right without being in somebody else's lane.
This is a great touch that he puts on this one here. That one out to about the 6th or 7th board at the break point, peels off of that spot and then snapped to 10 out again. Great start for Sean Rash.
So Rash up with 4 strikes. Ciminelli coming back on him, right there with him.
I think the other thing that's helped Sean Rash get off to such a great start is these two are actually pretty good friends. They're on the same staff, work for the same company. These guys they know each other and they're comfortable with each other.
Bowling against each other for a long time. Since I was about 15, I think he was 18 or 19. He was more of a competitor then, but we've grown on each other, and we were just so alike that we butted heads as kids, but when you grow up, you get over that, and we realized we were a lot alike and we get along great.
Whoa! And the whoa, as he knew, that had been pulled a little bit. Just how close they are is the fact the family's asked to sit together. Sean Rash's dad and wife sitting with Chelsea Larson, Ryan Ciminelli's girlfriend. That's pretty good. They're in competition and they're all sitting together and asked to be together. Oh, open frame.
And that's how inevitably he will lose this major championship. Remember, I said it, if he can keep it together. The last shot on this left lane went high. He left the 6-pin. He came back and goes through the nose, leaving the 2-4-7 and misses it. Sean Rash, what all great champions do now is they put their foot firmly on the throat of their opponent.
Wanted the strike and couldn't get it. That's a little opening right there for
Close. Real close. Good tempo.
Rash up 32. Ciminelli watching. See the top seed in the Stepladder finals. Second time in his career.
Good tempo.
Major win, 07. And will come away with a spare. Tempo, tempo. Listen to him talk about it.
Come on.
When my tempo gets fast, my feet get fast, the ball gets into the swing quick, my shoulders go down, my swing gets high, and it makes me pull up at the line and I miss it. And you know, not using grips and missing it at the bottom of the swing, you're gonna probably 2-pin or 210 or not very good results normally. So slowing down is the biggest key for success for me.
And that's exactly what he did on the right lane just there, Gary. Very fortunate only to leave the 2-pin. It could have been ugly. 2-8-10, 2-4-8-10. Instead, it's 9 spare on the scorecard.
So Rash taking his time, slowed the tempo down, putting the ball back down, talking to himself, picking it back up again. Get $80,000 on the line for the winner here in the Tournament of Champions. And right back in with it.
Good tempo.
Throughout my career, watching the greatest players of all time, competing against them, talking about them on television, there's one thing I know for certain. Anytime a great player is given an opening, they take advantage of it.
And that's what Rash is trying to do right here. Now Ciminelli's got to rise to the occasion and force the issue with strikes.
Was awfully good.
He's in trouble now. Open frame, not really sure what's going on that left lane for him, and now he hits the pocket and doesn't carry. Not to mention the fact that he's trailing by 32 and it's the 6th frame. Big trouble.
Get other finishes here in the Tournament of Champions. He will come back and get the spare, but it's not where he wanted to be. That does not help him right now. He was concerned of being a very fiery personality and also as a bowler that he get that under control. Thought he had done that pretty well this week. Wants to stay slow in order to control that. And he's done that, but now he's got to put the ball where he wants it. He does.
Good move. Good move.
You heard him say, Gary, good move. He made an adjustment on the left lane. The hook spot started to break down a little quicker than he had anticipated. He makes a move to the right towards the center part of the lane to try to find a little bit more oil to hold the ball off. Now, Sean Rash, this is his time. Up by 32, can increase it to 42. It's time for him to step up and make the greatest shots of his career.
Good tempo.
It is his to win or lose right now. And you got to love being in control at this point in the championship match of the Tournament of Champions. And there you see him again, slowing it down. His best finish was 8th last year in the Tournament of Champions.
And I got to be honest, when I see him do that, when I see any player balk, I think it's because they have too much going on in their mind. The focus is not clear on the right picture. Too many other thoughts other than the one key he needs, and that's tempo.
Rash.
Go!
Hollering at him, not loud enough.
Oh!
These are the kind of openings that can open this match up again. PBA's 2011-12 season coming to an end, but that Extra Frame will roll on through the offseason. Extra Frame, the PBA's online video. It's a subscription service, features exclusive live coverage of select events throughout the spring and summer. So don't miss the action. Click on the Extra Frame link, PBA.com today. Spare.
Last time on the right lane, he missed it a bit, got a little fast. This time it looked like he grabbed it, and that's the natural compensation that a player makes. They don't want the ball to go light again, so they try to help it a bit more at the bottom. Sean Rash almost got a huge break. It was a wiggling 4-pin. Now, there's your max score. Ryan Ciminelli by no means is out of this. Sean Rash's max 259, Ciminelli 237. Sean Rash is at 229 right now.
And there for Sean Rash, the average. New record. Entering the title match.
Yeah! Careful. 4-pin on the right lane. Almost a 4-pin on the left lane. Now he sits down, his mind starts to think. Should I move when I get up in the 9th and 10th? Should I move left? What if I move left and the ball doesn't hook? It could be a 2-8-10. Should I help it? So many things start to go through your mind sitting there on the bench waiting for your opportunity to come back. Sean Rash. He's got a lot to think about here, but first.
Ciminelli, that'll make you think a little more.
But first this guy, and exactly right. Ciminelli some more strikes, again, can finish with 237. But in my opinion, the only chance he has is striking out.
And Ciminelli knows that, down by 22. Sean Rash with a deep breath and the lead. "26-year-old looking for another strike. Keep the heat on." Oh! Messenger went right in front of it.
That one would have made him work.
Best he can shoot now, if he converts, is 216. Sean Rash would just have to fill frames in the 9th and 10th. Massive Messenger right in front, and his chances of winning his first major are all but over. Still up to Sean Rash.
He will put the spare away, but Sean Rash now has it within his grasp.
If he strikes on this ball, Gary, it's over. All he has to do is keep the ball in the lane on the 10th frame. A strike here, Sean Rash is going to win for the first time in 5 years. Let's see if he balks again.
Rash, a strike, and he's the Tournament of Champions winner. And no, not
Hold on,
close.
folks. Not over yet. 3, 6, 9, 10. This is a tough, tough spare. You can't throw it straight at the spare. You've got to cover the back pin.
You saw the oh my God as he let that ball go.
We saw it throughout the entire World Series of bowling. The one shot that killed Sean Rash. He's going to go with a straight ball at this.
Gonna go at it. Top, got it.
I'll tell you what, I think he was extremely fortunate to cover that spare. You don't see a lot of guys throwing it straight at the 3, 6, 9, 10.
Asking for a re-rack. And what looked like was going to be put away easily has not been done. Didn't get the strike, wanted the spare, saw the pressure.
Sean Rash taking a re-rack, buying some time. He needs 9 on the first ball. He will capture another major. Has not missed on this left lane. He was the higher seed. He got to choose his finishing lane. He chose to finish on the left lane. And again, lots of things going through his mind right now, and that's not a good thing. You got to somehow shut it all off and focus on this one shot.
To this moment, probably the biggest ball he's rolled in his career. Looking for 9. Brings it in. He got it! Tournament of Champions winner.
Yes! Great ball, baby. Great ball. The ball's amazing.
Two good friends meeting up in the Tournament of Champions championship match. And Sean Rash puts it away with a strike.
Nelson Burton Jr. was standing right over my right shoulder. When Sean let go of that ball, Nelson said, perfect.
Finishes it out. And Sean Rash will win his second major as he'll come away the Tournament of Champions winner. And a very emotional finish. His dad and wife behind him. This is the one he'll remember forever. The PBA Tournament of Champions is brought to you by Geico, saving people money on more than just car insurance. By Bayer, try Bayer Advance Aspirin, extra strength pain relief, twice as fast as before. By Hammer Bowling, nothing hits like a hammer. And by the USBC and its 2 million members. To find out more about USBC, log on to bowl.com today. Sean Rash, there's the one. Just his second major title. The other one came back in '07. He has been a perennial bridesmaid, but not today. As Sean Rash comes away with the championship, and let's get down to Randy.
Sean, it's been a long time coming, 5 long years. Describe what this win means to you.
Well, this one's a lot. You know, I've battled the ups and downs through my career so far. I got off to a great start, and you know, the last 14 shows, I guess it's been pretty tough. But you know, hard work and dedication pays off. This one goes to Brunswick and Muskegon and Lake Forest. They've been with me ever since, so that's for them.
What went through your mind in the 9th frame? You know, all the ups and downs at the World Series of Bowling, you bowled so great, and it seemed like there was just that one shot that ended up costing you a potential title. What were you thinking when you left the 3-6-9-10 in the 9th frame?
Well, when I left the 3-6-9-10, I thought about Detroit a couple years ago. I flagged them all against Ronnie, and I thought about Ronnie, and we've laughed over it a couple times. That just got to hit one of them. You got to hit the one in the front to make it, and my biggest thing all week has been my tempo, good swings, and I'm able to make spares. My spare shooting was phenomenal this week.
I know your mom's not here, but how special is it to share this with your wife and your dad?
Unbelievable. They were there for my first major at the Masters in '07. We just got married, you know, a couple months ago recently, and hopefully we'll start a family soon.
Congratulations. Enjoy it.
Thanks, buddy.
There they are. That's Dad on the right, and in the middle, his wife. And what a moment. And Summer Series is coming up on the PBA. Our coverage will begin on the 7th of July. We hope you will join us for the PBA Summer Shootout. And hopefully it'll go like this. Dad gets a chance to hold the trophy. A tremendous finish. He was seated #1 and got to watch the other matches, 2 of them, before he was able to come out on the lanes, but he got it done. And Sean Rash is the champion. For Randy Peterson and all of our great crew here in Las Vegas, I'm Gary Thorne. Thank you very much for joining us, everybody. Hope you enjoyed it. Congratulations to the newlywed who's got the championship trophy here in our Tournament of Champions. Adieu.